Easy Home Search is more than a lead generation provider. They're also a home search platform, and they are designed to empower real estate teams and help the consumer have a more smooth experience with their home search. They provide county level exclusivity, and they deliver exclusive buyer, seller, and cash opportunities for teams. And they only directly focus on one company per area. They focus on helping their teams convert through proven strategies and reshaping how real estate professionals connect with their clients and scale their businesses. So joining me today is Preston Guyton, the founder and CEO of Easy Home Search, and we're going to be diving into all that Easy Home Search is and what they are building. Preston, I'm very curious. I'm just going to address something because I'm sure people are very curious. What inspired you to create it? Because there's a lot of home search platforms out there, and people might be wondering, is there really a need for another one? What made you decide to create one yourself?
Yeah, I've been in real estate for 20 years. So I got a real estate license in 2004, and I always focused on lead gen. I live in a market where there's a lot of second home buyers. So it was early on, I want to get online to figure out how I could get in front of them. So it's always been something I've done. It's already always been a part of the businesses I've started, from real estate companies to mortgage companies to home construction companies. It's always been lead gen and conversion and generating leads online. Um, Easy Home Search was actually originally started as a way to generate mortgage leads because when I sold out of my previous general brokerage company in 2020, we started a mortgage company, and I was trying to figure out how to generate leads on the mortgage side because it's different. Like you can't, you're not going to get anybody to sign up to look at mortgage rates because that's information's free everywhere. So Easy Home Search was originally built as a way to generate leads for the mortgage company we started. Fast forward 2 years, I decided I wasn't a big fan of the mortgage industry just because real estate's what I've always been in. Um, so I sold out of that mortgage company and then started another real estate company and used Easy Home Search as a way to grow that real estate company over the course of 2 years. And I sold out of that company this year um, to really just solely focus on Easy Home Search. The Really the big reason why, and I tell people this, real estate for me has provided so much in my life that I have to, I'm thankful for every day. And lead gen and national search platforms, I feel like have done everything they can to make the job harder for real estate companies, whether it's digging in their pocket from 25% referral, 30%, 40%, whatever it is now, or the fact that so many teams and companies that have built a business off of a national platform all of a sudden receive a call one day and say, hey, by the way, your leads are going away next month. So, for me, it's very important to be open and honest with not only the agents and the teams, but also the consumer. So Easy Home Search is going to be very honest on the front end with the consumer, understanding, hey, we only partner with teams and companies with one team or company per county. That'll never change. And so they understand that. And then the teams understand that too. So, and people are like, well, why did you do county level exclusivity? It was twofold there. It's a lot easier to sell. There's roughly about 3,100 counties across the country. It doesn't take a big sales team to sell counties, and really about 1,500 of those counties are sellable, meaning there's enough transactions in that county to where you could actually sell it. So that's kind of the idea. And then also the team perspective, like the real estate team or company, you could grow to as big or as big as you want to grow if you have the whole county, and then it allows you for recruiting purposes, which we showed with Palms. We launched Palms in 2021, Palms Realty, and we grew it to 120 agents in 24 months. So there's a lot of things you can do with county level exclusivity, and that's really um, there's a lot of national search platforms. There's just not one like what we're doing, and I felt like the national search platform area could be a better space than what it is today.
I'm gonna ask a challenging question there because there have been companies that have started up that have been county exclusive, And then they wanted to scale and make more money, and then they decided, oh, we sold all of our counties, so let's open it up, and maybe we'll add two companies per county. So what made you decide to be county exclusive and decide that you're never going to change that?
It's, you've seen it in so many different things, maybe not real estate, but if I want to become more profitable, I'll just raise the price. Like if I raise the price 10%, is anybody going to complain? Probably not, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, there's other ways to make money than just to add. And I get it on like IDX platforms, that's a little bit more difficult, right? Because they're not really generating leads. When we're in about 210 MLSs now. So the whole idea, like, why do people go to national search platforms? Because it's easy. Like I could search in Jacksonville, Florida, or Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or Columbia, South Carolina, or Charlotte, North Carolina, all on one website. I don't have to pop around to different sites. So it's much stickier than say an IDX platform, right? Like where it's one market and you got to hop around from market to market. But the amount of money we can make on that's if we have a smaller sales team, so say we have 6 salespeople and they manage 1,500 counties. We don't have to go hire all these, the salespeople can manage it and everything. It's not from as long as we don't get stupid as far as payroll and everything else, we'll be just fine. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't need to, like, I don't need it to bring in $20 million a month. It's not really what we're shooting for. And there's other ways too. Like when you think about it, like once this is built up and we're generating millions of visits a month. There's other areas you could make money in advertising, just like Google has shown. I mean, if we have mortgage partners and the mortgage partners will pay, we have insurance partners. There's other home services that could sell from one website to generate additional revenue.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I know one thing that helps Easy Home Search really stand out is that you really help your partners increase conversion, and I've seen that firsthand. But can you help for those who are unfamiliar with what that means? What coaching and strategies you provide for your partners?
Yeah, so we do, Travis Halverson helps us and Nikki Pice helps us as well. So they'll do Winning Wednesday, do some coaching with the individual teams. A lot of the strategies that we see and manage over 80 different accounts in Digital Maverick. We do a lot of that in Easy Home Search as well. But also like I'm really focused on generating better leads too. Like we don't do any interruption marketing, meaning like we advertise to the person when they're searching. So we're not throwing banner ads up and different things. We'll do that more for brand recognition, but we're not doing that to generate leads. So we're really focused on the way we advertise to the consumer at the point they're actually searching. And then when they register, if they put in a bad phone number, a bad email address, they can't register. Like it doesn't allow them to. Now I can put in your phone number and your email address and it'll allow you to register, but for the most part, we we see better registrations because we're verifying the email, we're verifying the phone number, and then we're passing that information to the Easy Home Search teams. Like we verified the phone number, we verified the email, and we verified that name and phone number matched the person that registered. And so then you could actually look at grading the leads that are coming in, and you see better registrations, you see better communication, you see better conversations. So that's part of it. Then obviously the training on the back end with Travis and with Nikki to help them understand what's happened, what they should be doing to convert at a higher level.
Yeah, it's something that I personally experienced was how much you pour and create this community. You had hosted Conversion Con last year, and it wasn't necessarily exclusive to just Easy Home Search clients, but you certainly had several of them there. And
Mhm.
you prioritized creating this very open and honest community where everyone felt safe to share and collaborate with each other. And I know that comes directly from you and your leadership and then trickles down into your team members. And I know a lot of times there are companies and platforms that say they have a community, that community is quite dead. How did you decide to not only prioritize a community, but how did you truly create such a open and a community that's willing to share so much?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen what Follow Up Boss has done, right? I've seen what happens when a company really focus on community, with whether it's whether it's the company you start or whatever, it's just how you engage with your employees and how you allow them to share and how you're, put people up on stage. I mean, it's important for me, and, John Cheplack and I are partners in several different companies. And it's like the people that are willing to put into work, let them go on stage, let them succeed, let them see a level of success. And obviously they have to put in the work on the front end. It's like, oh, you just come into this and we'll put you up there. No. But if they're willing to put in the work and do the things, then, um, and I'm an open book. Like I'm going to share. Like I'm not going to. I don't think of like trade secrets. I'm not going to share this here because somebody's going. People are always going to copy. Like it's people are going to copy, and it's always been a part of history. Like architecture's copied. Everything's copied. It's just. And that's what I don't focus on. Like I'll share in the Easy Home Search group, the Facebook group. I just share whatever we're working on. It might be a roadmap that's 6 months away, but I'll share it in there. And there's a lot of people in that community that are not Easy Home Search clients, which I don't mind. Like it's just a place where I'm going to continue sharing things that we're working on and continue sharing things to people, and maybe they could take it away from that and find some success in their business with it.
Is there ever an instance where a person on your sales team meets with someone who is potentially interested in Easy Home Search, but y'all realize this may not be a good fit, whether it's because of the systems they have in place or the size of the team or any other specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually if they don't understand the whole conversion process, follow-up process, if they don't have systems in place. The last thing we want to do is sign somebody up that cancels in 3 months or 6 months because they don't have success. Like we know if they follow the systems, they will have success. Like it's, there's things that, and there's things that teams can do, and if they follow it step by step and do those things, they will be successful. Some will be more successful than others because maybe, they're better at communicating, they're better at closing, they're better on the phone or whatever it may be. But if they follow those steps and they do those things, they'll have success. But yeah, there has been more and more so lately. Like obviously, when you launch a company, you want to try to sell as much as you can and get as many people on. I mean, we launched in May of our last year was the first teams we launched on Easy Home Search. And so we've gotten better at qualifying to make sure that they're a good fit in the community.
I know that you've sort of not only pivoted, but created a subsidiary of Easy Home Search called Easy Verify, with helping businesses and real estate companies manage to making sure that they're compliant. So can you share a little bit about what Easy Verify is and how it ensures that real estate teams are compliant?
Yeah, so this was something we were already doing inside of Easy Home Search. Like we're already verifying the databases. We already run scanning for do not call lists. We're already, checking reassigned numbers and checking against litigators. But we're doing that for Easy Home Search clients. And so we decided, we were like, hey, we already have the data. Let's build Easy Verify. And we started that in Q4 of last year. And it ties into Follow Up Boss. It ties into Bold Trail. We're building it into HubSpot now. We're building it to go high level as well. And so what you do is say Follow Up Boss. It's simple. You just go to Easy Verify. You sign up. You add the owner API key because it has custom fields. So what it does is the initial scan, it will scan your whole database against the do not call list. And it's not something where you got to download, upload. You just connect the API key. It scans it. And when it starts that process, it also starts scanning any incoming leads. But the incoming leads are different. Like it doesn't always scan do not call, it scans against litigator lists. So if there's an attorney's ever filed a TCPA complaint or class action or whatever, they're going to show up on the litigator list. It also verifies the email. So it verifies the email, it verifies the MX records, it verifies that actually that email is deliverable, it passes through a valid, risky, or invalid. And then if you think about that automations, right? Like the invalid creates a tag. So like for you, you're like, okay, if it's an invalid tag on a new incoming lead, let's not send them an email because then it's just going to bounce. So then you're, helping to protect your domain, your deliverability score. So it does that. Then it also checks the phone number, the validity of the phone number, meaning how much activity that phone has. So it gives it a score from 0 to 100. Same thing, creates custom field. You could use that custom field to say, hey, show me all the phones that have a 70 to 100 score, And that means that phone has a lot of activity. Most likely that person's going to answer that phone call. And then it passes through a grade from A to F on that phone contact. And that A to F means if it's an A, that name that registered matches the phone number and matches the email. If it's a B, the name does not match, but the phone activity is high and it's a good phone number. And then a C is the phone and name match, but it's actually a lower activity. So a lot of times if it's a lower activity, it means it's like a landline phone. So it's usually a good phone. It doesn't have a lot of activity to it. And then what else? I think that's it. Yeah. And then obviously do not call. So, and then there's a timer inside of Follow Up Boss that shows you 90 days, which is not, it's not a regulation, the 90 days. 90 days is more like best practices when you're looking at a business. Like, hey, if I've called this person for 90 days, they're on the do not call list. I have no activity with them. You probably don't want to continue calling them. So yeah, that's something we launched that at right around Christmas is when Easy Verify launched.
So all this data that you're pushing over to Follow Up Boss, what do you recommend that your users should do with it? Should they just look at it and go, okay, that's nice, like to have
No, I
the
mean, they definitely want to train their agents. I mean, because you look at it from a standpoint of, when we came up with the pricing and everything else, we were like, okay, no matter what the database size, we don't want it to be more than what one find would cost. So the most expensive scanning up to 2 million leads is $4.99 a month. So you look at it from a standpoint, if your agents don't do what they're supposed to do, and all of a sudden they're calling do not call and you get a fine, a complaint, it could be anywhere from $500 to $1,500 per phone call. So you definitely need to train your agents on it so they understand it. And then, from the scoring perspective, the way we're validating emails, phone numbers, and all that, you could build a scoring system and say, hey, based on this, I want to prioritize these leads in a smart list and, maybe put more emphasis on converting them. The ones that are like an F score, maybe they get set to the side and maybe they're only called a couple times or text because most likely those numbers are bad. So we're building out some like best practices on ways to use it, but definitely from the do not call side, if that lead goes to 90 days and there's no activity, move them to a different pond, continue to maybe do behavioral text messages, and don't allow your agents to call and you continue sending emails, but just make sure those are in a pond that's not being called, like your higher quality leads.
Yeah, and something we're implementing is it's from my understanding it's not required, but it's best practice of just to continue to remind the lead of their right to opt out. I mean, it makes sense because in any sort of drip campaign email we've been doing for years or any sort of newsletter, you automatically are required to let them know of their right to unsubscribe. So it should be the same way with texting. It's a marketing
Yeah,
text.
and a lot of the vendors that like Twilio and stuff, they're making that their guideline because you have like TCPA up here restrictions, and then you have their restrictions and their restrictions. They want to keep it in because they don't want to be sued for something, so they're going to be typically more restrictive than actually the regulation. But I think Twilio and a lot of those are requiring you got to send an opt-out language every 20 to 30 days to remind them. Um, but if you look at the guideline, there's nothing in there that shows that, once they opt in.
Yeah, the one quick question with the litigator risk check. If someone is possibly a litigator, even if they're an opt-in lead, should a best practice be a team shouldn't even call them?
That's a that's a question I don't really know the answer to. I wouldn't.
Right.
I would email them, but I don't know if I would. I mean, litigators obviously looking for houses potentially as well, but they're also looking for more people to sue. So,
Right.
it's I wouldn't do it, but some teams might say, "Hey, I'll still." If you do it, I wouldn't call them any more than one or two times because then all of a sudden, because then you get to then there's like state level laws to worry about. But as a general, what I've told people is like my thoughts on one-to-one consent. I think it's great. Like one-to-one consent is what we've been doing at Easy Home Search the whole time. Like we have one lead, we hand it off to one person. Like it's never been one too many. And people probably don't realize how much lists are sold. Like you have lead generators, you have lead aggregators. Lead aggregators, a lot of times will sell that lead 100 times, 200 times over. And that's where you see situations where people buying lists of leads for 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents a lead. So one-to-one consent, really, we should be happy because we should have better conversations because of it. We should have better conversations. We should see people not hiding from the phone. I mean, there's still going to be people like I still see advertising for AI calling and call 30,000 leads a day. And I mean, based on the guidelines, they're not going to be able to do that. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens after January 27th. I think there's going to be a lot more in TCPA lawsuits in 2024 were up 40% compared to 2023. So a lot of people, attorneys, that are on the defense side are saying it's going to be a lot more in 2025.
Yeah. So looking ahead with both products, Easy Home Search and Easy Verify, what are you working on? What are you planning on?
So Easy Home Search, the big one we're working on is the Easy Home Search app and the Easy Home Search CRM app with agent. So there's going to be two apps. There's going to be an agent app and there's going to be the actual consumer app where they could search all across the country in the MLSs. So that's a big push we're working on there. We have a beta, an app in beta now, but we don't want to launch it until the agent app is done as well because they kind of go hand in hand. So that's the big thing we're working on Easy Home, and we're continuing to add more MLSs. We're continuing to work in a lot of things with AI and search and everything else. But the two big things are the app, whether it's the consumer facing and the individual app that the teams and agents can use as well. Easy Verify. The next thing right now we're working on is data enrichment. So that'll come where you have a button to push to enrich data on a contact, or you could add a tag and enrich an amount of contacts there. We're also building form builders so the idea with Easy Verify, it'll never do texting, you'll never do calling. I mean, call action is great at that. If you're looking for something that verifies and does texting and calling, I would go with them. I mean, they have a great product. But for us, we're more focused on the lead gen side. So we're going to have widgets as part of Easy Verify where, say, you need a form on your site and that form checks against the email, it checks against the name, it checks against the phone number. It actually records that registration so you have that information if it's ever needed. We're going to do the same with mortgage widgets where it'll verify the data, pass that data into your CRM. And then we already have the home value widgets. We just got to build it in Easy Verify. So that'll be the same thing. You put a home value widget on your site, it'll give you the home value of that, whatever they look up. We've already built the AVM tool, and it verifies the name, email, the address, and it matches that against the name and passes through that information. So yeah, that's really about it.
Yeah, just a couple things.
Yeah, it's fun though. That's why I get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, very good. Well, for those who want to learn more about either Easy Home Search or Easy Verify or both, I'll put a link to both websites below. Preston, thanks so much for sharing your time with us today, and I'm sure people find this very helpful. Congrats to all your success so far. In such a short amount of time, you haven't even launched past a year. It feels like you've been around for longer, but
well, I definitely have. It's it's funny. You always see, and you never know the backstory. But yeah, I've been in this business for 20 years. It's but yeah, their last year, Easy Home Search has really taken.
Yeah, for sure. Well, take care, Preston. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.